healthy way to be fat and maybe naturally lose fat. 5-year-old wanting to be slimmer. Here is what the scientific studies show. Girls who reported high weight concerns or high body dissatisfaction across ages 5 to 7 reported higher dietary restraint, more maladaptive eating attitudes, and a greater likelihood of dieting at age 9, independent of their weight status. How did we get here? How is it possible that someone who is supposed to carelessly play with dolls is dieting? Well, obviously it's because we serve as examples for those around us, because we allow media to brainwash our children into accepting thinness as a quality ranking high above inner beauty. Models who are often 20% underweight, they display impossible to attain physical features such as slim hips. It has been shown that fewer than 5% of American women achieve these physical ideals. Promotion of weight loss as a means to become more attractive encourages weight-based discrimination and dieting. An unintended consequence of weight loss imperative is an increase in stigmatization and discrimination against fat individuals. Discrimination based on weight now equals or even exceeds that based on race and gender. Extensive research indicates that stigmatizing fat demotivates rather than encourages health behavior change. Adults who face weight stigmatization and discrimination report consuming increased quantities of food, avoiding exercise, and postponing or avoiding medical care. Stigmatization and bias on the part of healthcare practitioners is well documented, resulting in lower quality of care. BMI is not a problem. Dieting, poor nutrition, and lack of exercise are. A shift away from dieting and drastic weight control measures towards the long-term implementation of healthful eating and physical activity behaviors is needed to prevent obesity and eating disorders in adolescents. As indicated by research, most health indicators can be improved through changing health behaviors regardless of whether weight is lost. For example, lifestyle changes can reduce blood pressure largely or completely independent of changes in body weight. The same can be said for blood lipids. Improvement in insulin sensitivity and blood lipids as a result of aerobic exercise training has been documented even in individuals who gain body fat during the intervention. A growing trans-disciplinary movement called Health at Every Size challenges the value of promoting weight loss and dieting behavior and argues for a shift in focus to weight-neutral outcomes. Randomized controlled clinical trials indicate that health at every size approach is associated with statistically and clinically relevant improvements in physiological measures, health behaviors, and psychosocial outcomes, and that health at every size intervention achieves these health outcomes more successfully than weight loss treatments and without contraindications associated with a weight focus. There is also more recent research showing that this intervention, the health of every size intervention, can lead to weight loss. But obviously that is not their focus. The health at every size intervention encourages body acceptance as opposed to weight loss or weight maintenance. It supports reliance on internal regulatory processes such as hunger and satiety as opposed to encouraging cognitively imposed dietary restrictions, and it supports active embodiment as opposed to encouraging structured exercise. For example, in terms of active embodiment, the health at every size intervention encourages people to build activities into their day-to-day routine and focuses on helping people find enjoyable ways of being active. The goal is to promote well-being and self-care rather than advising individuals to set guidelines for frequency and intensity of exercise. Active living is promoted for a range of physical, psychological, and other synergetic benefits which are independent of weight loss. Intuitive eating. The health at every size intervention teaches people to rely on internal regulation, a process dubbed intuitive eating, which encourages them to increase awareness of their body's response to food and learn how to make food choices that reflect their body knowledge. The health at every size intervention teaches people to make connections between what they eat and how they feel in the short and medium term, paying attention to food and mood, concentration, energy levels, fullness, ease of bowel movement, comfort eating, appetite, satiety, hunger, and pleasure as guiding principles. The journey towards adopting intuitive eating is typically a process one engages in over time, particularly for people with a long history of dieting, other self-imposed dietary restrictions, or body image concerns. It can feel very precarious to let go of the old habits and attitudes and risk trying new ways of relating to food and self. Coming to eat intuitively happens gradually as old beliefs about food, nutrition, and eating are challenged, unlearned, and replaced with new ones. Intuitive eating is also known in the literature as attuned eating or mindful eating. Women are psychologically coerced to believe that, in order to be attractive and successful, they have to be thin, ideally just as thin as the women portrayed in the media. Feminists argue that by following their desire to adopt thin ideal, they waste their time, mental resources, and money on extreme dieting and other procedures. It is important to convey the message that healthy can be just as attractive as thin is, and this can be achieved without side effects. According to an article released by the Daily Mail, women in the Western world spend an average of 31 years dieting. I'm not certain regarding the truth of this, but because they didn't provide any reference, but judging by the frequency of fat talk that I hear, I have the feeling that this may be true. And this is scary and sad in the context of the above, in the context of the health, physical, psychological, and social effects that dieting can have on one person. 31 years dieting, that's wasted half of life.